Well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to North Hobart Oval. It is the grand final in the MCMF Old Scholars. That is the Murdoch Clark Mortgage Fund Management Old Scholars for 2020. As we see one of the combatants enter the arena, and that is the Hutchins Football Club, and they are going up against the OHA Football Club. It is Andrew Hopwood here in the main commentary tower, and I'm also going to be joined with Fabian Ackroyd. And Fabian, this is a game that we've very much been looking forward to.
Yeah, g'day there, Hoppy. Thanks for having me along. Absolutely, it's pretty exciting.
It certainly is. Well, of course, the two teams we can see. Hutchins out there, and the Hutchins Old Boys were founded in 1932. Of course, they come from the school that was way back in 1846 by the Venerable William Hutchins, the first Archdeacon of the colony of Van Diemen's Land. Of course, they were a feeder school for Christ College, and then they set up in their own right under the leadership of J.R. Buckland, the inaugural principal in Lower Macquarie Street, that beautiful old building. It's one of the oldest remaining buildings in Hobart, and then of course they sold that in 1965, and in 1966 they set up it down at their campus in Sandy Bay. And I'm interested, Fabian, that the Hutchins motto, Vivit Post Franca Vitus, and of course you'd know what that is. It is character lives after death, and they'll be hoping that the character of the young men that represents the Hutchins Old Boy today will be on display.
Absolutely, they certainly live by that motto, and try and play to all of those standards that they set as a footy team.
So while they are out there, and here come their opposition, and this is the OHA Football Club. And of course the old OHA High, we can just see here from our commentary tower, that famous school was founded back in 1919, and the Old Scholars of Hobart High were founded just only 2 years later by Mr. P.H. Mitchell, who of course was the founding headmaster. And it was in 1965, very sadly, that that famous old high school was shut down, and in fact the Old Scholars sold it in 1995. But ever since, OHA have set up base over at their Gilston Bay headquarters, and in all the time that they've been involved in the Old Scholars, they have won 13 senior premierships, 5 reserves, and of course state premiers in 67, 69 and 72. So we've got two fantastic clubs playing in what is a wonderful competition, Fabian, and you would know it so very, very well. You've played in this competition yourself, and you have one of your young sons playing for DOSA as well, and I know that you've put your eye over the competition, and it's been a very, very good year so far. Very even competition, hasn't it?
It has, Hoppy, and yeah, young Sage is playing out at DOSA, and been very happy out there with the year. Unfortunately fell 6 points short last week to a pretty good OHA team, so full credit to those guys. But this competition is amazing. The depth across all sides in the competition is wonderful, and there's never an easy game, and it's something that we've mentioned about throughout the year and previous years, I guess, that you can't take any side lightly.
Oh, well, that is for sure. So when these two teams played in the second semi-final, what a cracker of a game it was, Fabian. It was Hutchins 18-18, 126, to OHA 17-16, 118. And isn't it great to see? That's what you want to see in football, players really going forward. It was a top-notch game, and then, of course, OHA went to the prelim, where they faced DOSA, who had the week before an 11-14-80 to 12-5-77 victory over Uni. And last week's was a magnificent game with the Ships, 11-14-80 to DOSA, 11-8-74. So you can see just in those 3 games, you throw a blanket over any of those 4 could have been out here today.
Absolutely. Last week was a great contest. Pretty combative, actually. OHA were quite physical around the footy, as Dosa are very well known for being also. But I guess a big point to it, Hoppy, is over this year certainly that I've become back involved through obviously Sage at Dosa is, and it's a credit to the coaches that they're allowing this standard of footy where there's quite a few shootouts, if you like. It's a good spectacle. It gets people to the footy. And, you know, as a player, it's what you want to play in. You don't want to be playing in, 6 to 8 goal games unless you really have to.
Very much so. So as we have a look at the two teams, I'm interested in the top goal kickers for the season. So in the top 5, they're all from these two teams. 4 of them, interesting enough, from OHA, with Stanton, the top one, I think, in the regular season with 40, then Wish Wilson 27, Harry Nichols from Hutchins at 25, then a very important one and a person who isn't out there, but we really hope him a very speedy recovery, Ian Callanan on 24 and Ray Hill 19. So on that note, so there's plenty of firepower out there, and of course we do send our best regards to Callanan. And you actually said, I think you had a chat to him just recently.
Yeah. Long history with our mate Wingnut, and
yep.
It's obviously pretty sad with what's happened, but it's a credit to him that he's been able to fight back to where he's at the moment, and he'll be sorely missed by OHA. But I'm pretty confident the greater footy community's all behind him, and I had a good chat with him yesterday, and he's probably beside us in the coach's box helping the guys get along.
So as we do look over the season, Hutchins 7-1, I dare say. You would suspect they are more the favourites. Of course, that one loss came to OHA, which was quite a big loss over at Gilson Bay. The Ships with a 6-2 mark, Uni with 3-5, Dosa 3-5, and St Virgil's 1-7. Now, when we look, Fabian, at the team of the year, there were quite a few names out here for these two teams. So for Hutchins, there was Johnson centre half back, Burberry in the centre, Nichols in the forward pocket, Al Corso as a on-baller, Kingston interchange, and the coach being named the coach of the year was Spalding. And for OHA, Will Ford in the back pocket, Ling on the wing, Wish Wilson centre half forward, Callanan forward pocket, Standen full forward, Chambers on ball, and Grant and Hill interchange. So a really good spread of the team of the year, and one of those ones we've got the centre half back of the year for Hutchins and the centre half forward for OHA. So really looking forward to those two going hard at it.
There's some quality in there, Hoppy, isn't there?
So the players are lining up for the national anthem, and of course when that happens we'll be quiet. But since the modern era has come in, since 1981, Hutchins have won 10 flags, OHA have won 4, and maybe in the last 5 years, Fabian, I think Dosa have won a couple, then Richmond University and Richmond again back in 2015. As I know, I can see the excited look on your face, Fabian Ackroyd, as the players lock arms in readiness for what they've worked really hard towards. It is the grand final.
As one of the best parts of the day.
It is, mate, isn't it? So the ground announcer is just asking everyone to be upstanding for the national anthem. So we'll go down and listen to that and be back with you in a minute. There is the national anthem, and it is with delight that we report that the rain has started to subside, Fabian, as well. So I think that augurs well for a very interesting match. But I'm very interested to hear your view about where and how both of these teams will think that they can take home the major prize of that final cup.
Yeah, it's interesting. Both sides have big advantages, but they both play a similar brand of footy. Obviously, with Lance now at the helm of Hutchins, they're a very well-drilled side. They play a very fast-moving style of footy where they like to spread the ball around the ground and press up fairly heavily. So, you know, with the dry ball, if it stops raining, that will certainly help Hutchins, I would have thought, throughout the day.
So what about OHA?
Look, OHA, again, they're quite a combative side. They do like to hit the contest fairly hard, and they themselves move the ball very well. They've got some very classy players around their forward half, as you mentioned earlier with the goal kickers. I guess obviously Trent Speedy Standen being one of them, he's a super talent. So he'll be quite a handful for Hutchins today. But if they can get the ball out of the midfield and win that, I guess that contest there, they're going to give their forwards a really good chance to score, especially on North Hobart Oval.
Very much so. So one of the better players in the league, and in fact was crowned the best player in the league. He won the Peter Fitzgerald Medal. Was George Burberry for Hutchins. Tell me, put your coaching hat on, what is it that you will do to probably to diminish some of the advantage that Burberry will give Hutchins Football Club? Yeah,
look, he's obviously a quality talent. He's played a lot of AFL footy. You know, the thing I notice about George is his ability to kick the footy low and hard and very accurate on both sides of his body. So his ability to open up the contest, whether you're going direct or certainly out on the wings, is extremely dangerous, probably the most dangerous in the competition. So it's very hard to limit his ability to win the ball, but I think it's probably the next kick after that I'd be trying to limit. So he's going to use the ball really well. It's what happens after that. So they're going to need to be a step in front, I think, OHA.
Well, it'll be interesting to see not only how he goes and indeed how OHA go about it. We're expecting a fantastic match. Each time these teams have played, it has been of the very, very high standard. So to everyone who is out there, so it is at full capacity of the 1,000 people within the confines of the North Hobart Oval. Without a doubt, Fabian Ackroyd, the best football ground in Tasmania. It's a wonderful, wonderful atmosphere with the amount of people that we have in. So to all our friends who are watching this grand final, we welcome you to the coverage as we are expecting a fantastic game. So we are underway now in the 2020 final as Allenby from the half-back flank picks it up for OHA. He gets the first possession. It comes out now to the big fella in Cleary for Hutchins. It's going forward. Danger signs now as we see how they go up. Hutchins looking very dangerous. A handball over from Trippett. Oh, a bit of a don't argue if you don't mind. And Hutchins have got the first one on the board. I think that was Tommy Triffett who scored that one. He gave the don't argue. I think that was to the advancing defender in Crew, was it? No, maybe, I think. Could have been Hill. Anyway, it didn't matter, but it's a Hutchins goal, and very good signs there, Fabian, from the way Hutchins moved that ball forward.
Absolutely. Cleary gave the mids first use of the footy. Their quick transition, put OHA under pressure.
It certainly did. So they won the ball out of the centre, and they'll be looking to do it again. This is exactly, for those who are just joining us for the first time, what happened in the game previously gone, as Burberry took a beautiful clean possession. There down back is Bradford, who picks it up. He tries to get away, but that's great forward pressure. A little bit of overzealous there, as a little bit of a push as Hutchins go into attack. Backing back, they've got to be careful. It was Ford who tried to mark it. A bit of an appeal, and in fact it is a free kick, I think, taken too high. And Will Ford, been a journeyman, a very good footballer. He comes from down Huon Way, played in the State League with the Lauderdale Football Club. And that one went a little bit too wide. He was looking for Dylan Grant, who couldn't quite bring that one in, as Tom Triffett had him covered. So the boundary throw in. It's a minute, 2 minutes gone now in the grand final. Hutchins have scored early. It is our Corso. Our Corso going further afield, a little bit wide, and it is out of bounds. And the free kick will go to Will Ford. So Hutchins settling really, really well in the early stages here, Fabian.
Yeah, they are. Cleary in the middle of the grounds, giving the guys first use of the footy. He's been fantastic.
Yeah, I've liked his work. There's no doubt about that. As Hutchins, look at them all. They're running in big numbers. It comes back to our Corso. He gets it into that awfully dangerous position about 20 metres out from front and centre of the game, of the goal, I'm sorry, as we can see there, a Hutchins player came spearing through the pack. In fact, that was Will Burgess, and he was pushed. And a little bit of panic there by OHA, Fabian, which isn't great signs.
No, it's not, and it's Hutchins' fast ball movement that's putting OHA continually under pressure. And this young guy, young Burgess, he's a quality young player.
Yeah, he certainly is. 21-year-old, had 9 games with the club. Burgess comes in, he steps back, he's lent a little bit, but I think he's done enough. And he has put that one through. So that's Burgess's first goal and Hutchins' second. And this is exactly, Fabian, like what the reserves did only a few minutes ago. So a wonderful start from the Hutchins Football Club. Yeah,
absolutely. As we all know, in finals and certainly grand finals, scoreboard pressure early is really, really important. And OHA are going to have to watch young Burgess up there because he's a prime mover and he's very fit and can run with his speed around that forward 50.
There's been a whistle off play. I don't know if you can see what's happening. I'm interested also, Fabian, in the centre there. Looks like Paul has got a bit of a roll on Burberry there. So as Paul, he was paid a little bit too close attention, didn't he?
He has, and the umpires will be right over that.
Yeah, they know what Burberry is like. It was Martinovic just drifted across the back and took a strong mark. He gets it off now as OHA are going to try and mount an assault. It's close to the boundary line as Paul took that mark or didn't take that mark. Let's just have a look. They're just checking. Maybe he, on the second grab, just went over, and that's exactly what umpire Duffy has said, umpiring his first grand final. Great to see a young fella like young Jack Duffy be rewarded for all his good efforts during the season, as Burberry is picking up kicks as at will. As coming out hard is Triffett. Strong tackle being applied by Damon Crew. Big, strong fella, the big Ned Kelly beard.
That's what they need to do for the majority of that of today's game is continually put Hutchins under pressure.
Very much so. If anyone's going to do it, it's someone like Damon Crew. He's a good footballer, and that's another mark going back. I think that's Ford. Just waiting to see what's happened. Is there what's off the ball here, Fabian? Can you see what's going on? Is there a bit of a blood rule going on? I think
yeah, blood rule.
Okay, so it's Damon Crew, who in that last contest, I think he just took a bit of a head knock. So he is being replaced by Alex Triffett, who comes on, and now the game gets back underway as the Ships mount this assault as it goes. They haven't been inside the 50 yet. There is Ray Hill, gets his first touch. As we mentioned him before, he was in the team of the year as an interchange player. He's come across from Lauderdale Football Club, where he played all his juniors. Good goal kicker, very evasive skills. Has
quite a good set of hands too for his size, Ray.
Yeah, he does. So that one just goes through Cleary. But they've got the numbers here, OHA. They're starting to settle a bit now as they look to go forward. It was an advancing Hudson. Couldn't quite bring it in, and it's a boundary throw in. But with 6.5 minutes gone in the 2020 final, it is Hutchins, 2 goals straight. OHA yet to score, but they are certainly starting to settle a bit now, are the Ships. They just need to get that scoreboard pressure. That was Heavey that was up against Cleary in the ruck. Now it comes to Martinovic. He gets the handball out. This looks better. as it comes to the coach who goes inside. Handball from the advancing players. It's further afield to Grant. He is dispossessed by our Corso, who picks it up. Now they've got the run. Here they go. A long raking kick going towards their forward line. You can see the slippery ball. There is a punch, and it comes to the advancing right, but it is a free kick paid in that particular occasion to OHA. They just steady the flow, and Will Ford has taken that kick, but Hutchins getting players behind the ball. That's an errant kick back in the centre. That's danger and swarming all over. And now the ball is turned over. This is danger signs as Clark goes forward. It's a very open forward line. Is running hard in towards the ball was Matthew Wright. But gee whiz, Fabian, you don't want to turn the ball over in the centre of the ground like that.
No, it's interesting. As soon as a Hutchins player
So welcome back to North Hobart Oval. As we can see on screen, it is Hutchins got the better of that first quarter, 3-2-20, leading OHA 2 goals straight. Now, Fabian, you went down to the huddle of OHA, and Coach Langford was very animated.
Yeah, very animated. He was quite forceful with a number of his players around their attack on the footy and their ability to lock down on the Hutchins opponents.
Yeah, I had a little listen to Hutchins. They were very calm. Coach Spalding, when he brought them in, they stayed in their groups through assistant coaches McCulloch and Abel, just sending the message that they're happy with the way they started. They, like you and I, they were impressed by the big man in the ruck, and they just said keep doing what they're doing, and they were very impressed by this man. And why wouldn't you be, as Burberry takes possession of the ball again, which is very dangerous as far as OHA are concerned, as just like in the first minute of the first quarter, Hutchins have kicked that left footer around the body. It was nice play. I think that might have been Will Burgess again, Fabian. He looks very dangerous when the ball goes forward.
Yeah, we mentioned him early in the coverage, Hoppy. His ability to hit up and down the ground. He's a very fit player. And he's hard to play on. But Cleary's ability to give first use of the footy then to Burberry, just amazing.
Yeah, well, Burgess, of course, he's a Hutchins man who went to North Hobart, and then he's come back and he's been tremendous for the Hutchins old boys, as the rain came down a little bit hard in that break, and it's just coming down now as Langford picks it up. He had a couple of players hanging off him. As you can see the frustration on Stanton's face, he wanted the ball out in front of him to run onto, because to be quite blunt, that's his strength, isn't it?
He had the one-on-one too.
He did.
And he probably had 25 metres in front of him. A quick kick out in front of him would have been perfect for Speedy.
Yeah, that's the sort of thing you need to do to him. Don't try and hit him up. Just put it out in front. He'll do the rest. As Burberry gets a quick kick out, here is Ling, really fighting hard, and it might also be Hilbert. Ling, who's been a real bullocker so far for the Ships. He's helped up by Allenby, and another throw up. Good tap out by the hard-working Cleary. Big tight-in contest. It was Johnston for Hutchins who was there. Well played by Franks. Franks just slips that one over towards the half-back flank. Waiting there was Johnston. They've the whistle as Hutchins were ready to break. And the free kick, I think, is going to go to OHA. And Nick Skeggs has got that one. So Skeggs, who was playing down back, I think having a bit of a run now maybe forward. We'll keep an eye on that as the big, strong, long left foot. Gee whiz, Fabian, that went a little bit further than what I thought he could kick. A good effort.
Absolutely. He's a defender traditionally, so to push himself forward and get hands on the foot, he's been positive.
Certainly is. Well done there by Cleary. As Hutchins go close to the line. And seeing that one out was Larry Owen. Very good footballer, Larry. Of course, he played at Sandy Bay, then went to North Hobart. Very close to actually playing over in the big leagues, but he's turned his mind to the studies. And, of course, it's now Dr. Owen down there at the Royal Hobart Hospital, a ripping young fella, as the ball is now on the wing position. A spoil. It's over the top. Free kick played on quickly by Nichols. It's into the dangerous area as Burberry picks it up. And Burberry, put down your glasses on this one. And Burberry has put it through. Gee whiz. On that free kick, Fabian, Hutchins took it really, really quickly.
They moved the ball fast. I think behind the play too, OHA are a little bit focused on the man behind the ball a little bit, which caught them off the hop.
And maybe they still are. There's something a little bit willing down here.
Free kick here, Hoppy.
Goodness gracious, it certainly is, as the umpires got the book out. I can't quite see. I was just looking for the delineation in the tattoos. It's Damon Crew who is at the bottom. I think the umpire's calling him over and maybe just giving him a bit of a spell.
I think they're coming off for a spell.
So both players coming off, Fabian. I know you can see here. Just concentrate on the ball. That's the toughness, isn't it? But this is footy. This is what we like, isn't it?
Yeah, we don't want to get caught up in this. OHA certainly need to start getting their hands on the footy. This will really suit Hutchins.
It will. It certainly will. It was a lovely play by Burberry. As soon as the ball hit the ground, he was running and he looked very, very dangerous. Here is Grant. Soccers that one off the ground. Alex Hill tries to chase, but Burberry, who's being so influential so far in this game, goes out towards Lewis Noy. I think it's paying another 50. Becoming a little bit undisciplined here for the Ships, Fabian.
Yeah, they are. They need to focus on the football a little bit more instead of the man, I think.
So it is Noy just taking time. Again, Noy came through the ranks. Was a Hutchins schoolboy who played at Sandy Bay. I think he's represented the country also at sailing. He goes the drop punt. That's a beautiful looking kick. And leading out is Tommy Balcom. And he's just saying he's going to have a look at them.
Gee, they work well behind the ball there, Hutchins.
Oh,
Their ability to open up that space for that kick, was fantastic. The guys were in and out, presenting up.
And Balcom, who looked dangerous, he got into some very dangerous positions in that first quarter, has been rewarded for that lead by Noy, who pinpoint accuracy, put it on his chest as he goes towards the goals. And I think he has. He's put it through. That's a very, very nice kick there by Tommy Balcom. So is it starting to get a little bit dangerous? Not moreover the score, of course, Fabian's the bleeding obvious really, with Hutchins 6-2-38 to OHA 2-1-13. But it's really about the way they're going about their footy, the Ships.
This is where OHA getting troubled through the middle of the ground. Around general play, they're okay. It'd almost be worth having a negative ruckman against Cleary and putting another midfielder in there to probably win the possession around the footy. Yep.
And there he is again, mate, as you just said, getting the tap out. And Hutchins are really running over the top of the ground now as our Corso goes the short pass out towards a fast advancing Burgess. He evades, comes back inside, goes the handball. There is Jockey Dark. He spins around as Burgess again, brings it back into a fast advancing Kingston. You can't pick that one up, but look at the tackling pressure there by Georgie Burberry. Not only is he a player that likes to get out on his own with the ball, Fabian, but that's just top class with that pressure applying of the tackle.
If you notice the ferocity of the way he tackles as well, it's very different to a lot of other players.
Yeah, very much so. No, he's certainly one of the Rolls Royce of this competition. As now they're in a dangerous. I think Martinovic went to get the ball, and he has been paid the free kick. Let's just double check on this. It's Martinovic who now has the ball. He can play forward and back at the moment. He's playing down back as he needs a lift from some of his teammates, as Ray Hill went up for it, but he was dispossessed by the opposition. Here comes Langford. They need a lift from many of their players now. Out towards Stanton, coming from behind. A fast advancing Larry Owen, who's playing an absolutely wonderful smothering performance on the leading goal scorer in the league in Stanton. And but Stanton really hasn't had many opportunities, Fabian.
They're making it pretty hard for him,
aren't they?
They're not playing to his strengths. It's a little bit like Wish Wilson, quality player, but they're just not using them to their strengths, which is disappointing.
So it was Hill who just got that onto his foot as quickly as he can. Coming out was Allenby, couldn't quite get it. Back inside towards Grant. Big spoil. They've just gained a couple of valuable metres, just socketed off the ground. William Hay comes out for Hutchins. Fast running Dark picks it up. He looks a very nice mover when he takes possession of the ball. Paul is there. You know he's going to get tackled hard by George Burberry, and he would have enjoyed that because it's really been the other way around every time Burberry gets tackled hard. So that was his chance to reciprocate there to Damon Paul.
You mentioned Dark a moment ago, Hoppy. He's been very impressive in the first quarter and a half of this footy game. His ability to break lines off the halfback flank's been great. So
it is a throw in. Well, there it was a little bit ugly, and free kick will go down here to Heavey. Heavey just looking at some of his options. He doesn't like what he sees, so he decides to go a short pass here to Ling.
They've got the loose out here.
Okay, now. Here they go. Well spotted. Martinovic. Short pass. Had to be very accurate as Baker, who's moved down from the back line. It's Skeggs is there. He's trying hard. They just got to push it forward. As you can see on screen there, that rain is getting that little bit harder, Fabian.
It is, and that'll certainly, again, like we mentioned, play into Hutchins' favour, certainly with the early scoreboard ascendancy.
Very much so. So it is a throw in. They go up. Ling quickly gets the tap out. Leading with the head was Al Corso. There wasn't a lot that Benny Allenby can do on that particular occasion.
No, it's an interesting decision, that one. He charged him with his head.
He did. Allenby didn't do anything wrong, but I guess we've got to protect the head, as this is danger as Balcom runs into the open goal across the back. And Hutchins have scored another goal, but I like the structure of their forward line, Fabian. They seem to be leading plenty of space behind, kicking it long, and then really turning around and running hard back toward goal. They
appear to have the one out forward, and their pockets and half forwards are really pressing up to the middle of the ground. And as soon as they win the ball, which opens up that space behind, they charge forward. And if you've noticed, a few of their goals today have come directly from that type of structure, which Lance seems to have implemented quite well.
Oh, very much so. No, there's in that coach's box, there's plenty of experience in McCulloch, Abel and Spalding. There is no doubt about that. So the pressure, the blowtorch is certainly being applied here to the Ships. They need a lift now as Standen picks that one up. He turns around. It's accurately going towards goal, but he was too far out. And a nice mark taken by Henry Johnston in the last line of defence for Hutchins. It's down now on that halfback flank position. It's close to the line. And another throw in. I've just also had a text from Manchester in the UK. Ian Southhorn, the uncle of the Allenby boys, is watching us, Fabian. So we've got everyone from all over. I believe you've just had a text from Queensland as well.
We've got one. Dylan Ackroyd's over in Queensland watching the game of footy, and of course played a little bit of senior footy with the university over here a number of years ago.
It's great to get that feedback from some of our viewers as it's on that wing position. And Will Ford, who's been pretty steady back there, Fabian, hasn't he?
He has. They've been under pressure.
Of course, we mentioned pre-game, Will did make the team of the year, and you can see why. He's going about his footy. But it's this messy sort of entry into their forward line which doesn't look to profit OHA. Allenby's there. He had an opportunity to quickly go on that left boot, but the time he decided to turn back around like the HMAS Titanic, he was beset upon, wasn't he, by the Hutchins defenders who were tackling really, really hard. It was Bastic who was brought to the ground hard, and you can see he's going to be pretty slow to get up, but it doesn't hurt as much.
Just a bit that OHA are continually trying to kick to a contest where Hutchins are trying to draw that one and hold onto that footy and then create that manic pressure when they move the ball forward.
Yeah, they're holding the ball more in the midfield to then go by hand, and then that long kick over the back where...
To their running forwards.
Yeah, to their running forwards, where OHA have come in, and I just sort of commented a couple of minutes ago, it looks a bit messy. They've got plenty of people in there, and Hutchins have got plenty of numbers, and that's a really tough position to get a goal from. So OHA under a little bit of pressure now, as picking it up is our Corso, and it's out of bounds. So our Corso again started his footy with Sandy Bay via the Hutchins Junior Club. Then I think he had a stint North Hobart and Clarence, and ripping young fella as well, and he's found his way back home. And that's the beauty of the old scholars, and especially with Hutchins, they're very big on the tradition of going back, Fabian, to the old school, and love it or hate it. I know if you're not a Hutchins, sometimes you don't like. I love it, and I love the sense of it. I was in the change rooms before with Hutchins, and I love that tradition. There's no doubt about it.
Hutchins are renowned for it. Their school footy translates into these guys continually to play a senior footy. Very similar to Dosa. I think once you arrive at the footy club, they don't tend to leave.
Yeah. Yeah, that is a part and parcel of this wonderful league in the old scholars, isn't it? There's no doubt about it. It's a really good community football the way they play. It's a good brand of footy to watch, and obviously very enjoyable to play in, as nicely done there by Matthew Wright, the very creative forward. Skeggs does nicely. He goes one way, shimmies, goes back onto his left foot, the Ned Kelly lookalike, and finds Heavey. Bearded, but not to the extent of the cohort I just mentioned, as Langford claims that one. Umpire said it was touched. There is a hard-working Benny Allenby, and goes onto his left boot and gains a couple of metres, but not enough for OHA. They certainly need a lift. So what have we got now? We've got 15 minutes gone in the second quarter. A bit of a stalemate at the minute. It is tough to score given the rain is tumbling here at North Hobart. They're trying hard, and no way known that ball was going to come out. It was a good tackle by Wright, and it'll be another ball up.
I like what Skeggs did a moment ago and looked sideways and laterally and tried to keep possession of the ball. I think that's what OHA need to do a little bit more of, rather than blazing the ball forward. I
absolutely agree, as that ball comes into a leading Wish Wilson. We're expecting big things, and it makes it a little bit more challenging when the weather is like this for a forward, but it's the same for both sides, and it's just a matter of how you bring the ball as it comes out to White. White moves it down towards the wing. Hard working play there by Nichols. He's dispossessed, comes back out towards Baker. He goes back inside. Baker trying to go again. There is Paul. Paul goes on to the left boot, drives it forward, but just taking their time, going behind the ball is Hutchins, and they just look steadier over the ball, don't they, at the moment, Fabian?
Yeah, they certainly do.
So there is a good contest. It spills down towards Bastic. He goes inside, and leading up is Lewis Noy. Noy goes the long, low kick in towards the forward line in his attempt to go quickly. He didn't get really good purchase on his left boot into the ground, and wasn't able to get it up as high as he would like, but it's in a very, very dangerous position for the Hutchins Football Club. 17 minutes gone in the 2020 Grand Final, as it comes in. Advancing is Kingston, takes possession. Handball back down, head over the ball is Clark, as it's a free kick. He had his head, and the umpires are certainly being very consistent, Fabian, in relation to anything high.
I think with the slippery ball too, they're trying to protect the headed. Obviously, some players taking advantage of that, but
very much so.
They've been fairly consistent.
I suppose it is a little bit dangerous to be leading by the head, but courage shown by Clark. Clark now coming in. It's a good-looking kick off the boot. It's just swinging over and through for that minor score to Clark. So he's been a really great player over the last decade, has Clark, a 29-year-old fella. He's been a good stalwart for the Hutchins Football Club. Goes out towards the wing. Look at that beautiful pick up there by Burberry. Just sort of the way he runs over the ground, Fabian, where some sort of people run on the ground, as a strong marks taken by Noy. And I tell you what, Noy has been a very, very good target and a good foil for the other forwards, but he's led well, Fabian.
He's hit up very well, hasn't he? And he makes very good decisions once he's got the football.
Yes, he does, as goes out towards right. He gets that ball forward at the bottom of the pack. This is where they got a goal as it came out towards the edge. So the Ships have got to be very, very careful as that ball went out of bounds. You can see the appeal coming from Balcom, and he probably has a case, because I think that was an attempt to put that through for a point that hit the post.
OHA probably need to look at making some changes here, certainly on Burberry. Bradford might be an option too, because of his ability to cover the ground, at least to put pressure around the footy. Very
much so. That's a better tackle. You can see Burberry there picked it up as clean as a whistle. He knew he was going to be tackled, so he just put the arm out and fended off. But prior to that passage of play, Martinovic was tackled high and he got the free kick. Martinovic goes out towards that wing position. So HA, they need a spark from someone from somewhere, Fabian Ackroyd, and I'm not sure who's going to give it, but they need it soon.
They need more out of their some of their taller players too, that just don't seem to be touching the football. It's not easy conditions for those guys today, but they need to give a little bit more, I'd suggest.
Very much so. Well, there's no next weeks for these guys. You play to be in this game, to give yourself an opportunity, and the Ships, with their record of 6-2, have given themselves every opportunity in the modern era for them. Of course, they were premiers in 82, 88, 2008, and their last one was back in 2011. So I know they've been yearning for it over there at Gilston Bay. I know prior to the game they gave themselves every chance. They're here and they're very much in this game, as Heavey is tackled, and here is a chance as the ball comes quickly through the middle of the ground, comes over the back towards Stanton, and that's the sort of ball that he likes. And finally, when he gets a one-on-one, Fabian Ackroyd, Trent Stanton looks very, very dangerous.
He certainly does, and I'm not sure. I think that was Chambers that actually got that quick ball movement into speed in, and his ability to push his player under the ball very, very well and create that space behind. OHA need to be doing a lot more of that, and working that forward 50, because they're getting plenty of entries. They're just not using their forward 50 well enough to create opportunities for Speedy.
Very much so. Of course, playing on him has been Larry Owen, and Owen has done a magnificent job. He's deceptively tall, Owen. But he's sort of like a cat. He can play tall and can play on smaller players, but there was nothing much you could do about that one. No one can when the ball comes in really quickly and comes over the back, as our Corso gets it over to the side. Out they come to OHA. Picking that ball up was Eaton. He tried to go round one too many, and the free kick for holding the ball is going to go here to Tommy Balcom. Balcom, who's had a really good game for Hutchins so far today here in the 2020 final, goes down deep. Both players there weren't particularly willing to go hard at the ball. It is Wish Wilson who maybe now has gone for a bit of a run on the ball, and I don't mind that at all either, Fabian. He wasn't getting much of it down forward, so that's a good tackle by Wish Wilson, but comes back to Chambers, but a ball up.
Wish certainly has the aerobic capacity to run up and down the ground. He's a pretty good athlete, and I don't mind the fact that they've changed him.
Well, if the ball isn't being delivered, why not give a man a run on the ball. And because once you do get 1 or 2 possessions, Fabian, it gives you a little bit of confidence, doesn't it?
It certainly does. Another player I'd like to see get in the game a little bit more is Paul Hudson.
Yep.
Hasn't seen a lot of the ball, so currently wherever he sort of seems to be playing through the middle part of the ground, high half forward. He'd be quite a good foil for Speedy if they played deep, because Hutto can certainly mark the ball, and he's a very good goal kicker.
He is a good goal kicker. And there's another ball in. Nice throw in by umpire Duffy. There's Heavey. Thinks it toward Langford. Quickly gets his boot onto it right in front of the George Miller stand. Haven't they done a wonderful job with the resurrection of that stand? Of course, it was burnt down years ago, Fabian. It's rebuilt to its former glory.
It looks fantastic.
It does look great, and especially downstairs is where the improvement's been made on the change rooms. So well done to the Hobart City Council. There was Hudson, but this time he's fallen over 3 times there. If that's not saying go and get the long studs on, I don't know what is, as it's deep into the attack as Stanton has kicked that ball. Now, you're very much involved in the footy, so does your modern day player have a selection of boots in their kit?
Well, they certainly should do. I can remember a long time ago not having a selection of boots in my toolkit and slipping over and getting dragged. So,
well, I know they're all moulded, but there are a certain mould that are meant to be better in the wet conditions, but it's so costly when you're on the ground. You're out of the contest. So there is Owen deep into attack, assisted by Hay, as that kick goes towards the boundary line. Standen is appealing for on a deliberate kick. Well, I thought that was more in hope than being fair income.
We probably noticed now that pretty much every player on the footy grounds in forward of the centre from OHA's forward line, which gives Hutchins the ability to press back really quickly if they win possession of the ball.
Well, there is Heavey back towards Chambers. You can see the advancing OHA players, but there's not a lot of room in front of them. And that's what you just mentioned, Fabian, is it? So you really need some of those OHA players to just run out, don't you, to create some space.
They're very fit, Hutchins, so they're prepared to work really hard up and down the ground, and they're very well coached, so their structure is holding up today.
Yep. So it is a throw in. The big men do go for it. Close the line. That was really clever by John O'Eaton to keep that ball in. And it's going to be a ball up. You can see the goals directly behind the umpire, so it's right into the attacking area for the Ships in what is a very, very crowded forward line. And taking possession there is Zach Burberry, and with his forward momentum to try and gain a metre on his opposition, he's run out over the line. So another boundary throw in. Gee whiz, there'd be just about nearly every player on the grounds in that passage of players. It comes towards Heavey. Heavey goes in towards the goal. It's spoiled. It comes towards the ground, and Chambers has kicked it off the ground. An opportunist goal.
I was just going to say, Hoppy, if OHA can scrounge another one here before half-time, it certainly gives them big belief going into the second half, because I'm sure that Brodie will be talking to his troops, mentioning they're not playing their best footy. But so their upside for those guys is if their quality players start getting their hands on the football, they could cause Hutchins some serious problems in the second half. Yeah,
very much so. That's beautifully observed. And momentum is such a fascinating thing in the modern game, isn't it? It
is. And like we said, they just need to change the way they're bringing their ball in the forward 50. They're winning enough around the ground, just making it really difficult for their forwards.
I know that when you do go into the big change and you get the last goal, it's the last thing that you do, and it really does encourage you, as coming out hard was El Corso. So OHA have had most of the ball in their forward 50 for the last passage of play, as Martinovic comes out hard, and he's been rewarded for the free kick, and he's played a pretty good game back there, Fabian.
He's been solid for them. He's certainly been in their top couple of defenders today.
So Jacob Martinovic goes out towards Damon Crew, who has re-entered the game. Skeggs goes on to his left boot. A very ambitious kick towards Hudson, but there is the person that you spoke of, Fabian. He led well, and he's been rewarded with that lead push in the back. And we need to see more of that as Hay takes possession. Handball to Alcorso. He goes further afield to Henry Johnston. Johnston is looking for Charles White, but the boundary line has beaten them all. And with nearly 28 minutes gone in the second quarter, it is Hutchins 7-2-44 leading OHA 4-1-25 in the 2020 grand final here in the Old Scholars, as that rain is just getting a tad heavier. Close to half time there is Wish Wilson. He was scragged and put on his backside after getting it towards Ling. Ling kicks in hope, but Lewis Franks is there to mop up for Hutchins. Nothing on, so he decides to go long and wide, and the boundary line is going to beat them all. So
we probably noticed then that Hutchins' reluctance to drive the ball forward. They're actually waiting for somebody to present up, or they're happy to switch the ball sideways just to keep possession of the ball. They'd be quite content with this, I'd suggest, right now.
Yeah, I agree, as it is a throw in. I think Skeggs might be rewarded for that one. Both players, but as soon as an umpire sees a Guernsey being pulled, he's quick to get the whistle in the mouth, and Nick Skeggs has taken that free kick. They've got quite a few options in the ruck division, haven't they, Fabian? And they're changing them very quickly, are the Ships?
They are, yeah, and I think they need to continue to do that to try and get the right matchup.
I agree. So I think that might have been Harry Allenby. As labouring behind there was Hudson, who looked very dangerous just a few minutes ago. There is Damon Crew back to Wish Wilson. Wish Wilson goes down the wing position. Here is Hudson. Does really, really well to keep that one in. Points the toe forward towards Standen, who nearly brings it up. He's going to try and get it back out to Hill. Friendly fire. That was Langford who came over the top. Hutchins under a bit of pressure now. It is Ling. Ling kicks in towards the goals, but he has hooked it a little bit too much, and it hits the upright. So a free kick going to Hutchins, but again, OHA do look dangerous, Fabian, when they move the ball quickly into the forward line.
Definitely, and I think they've had the best part of probably the last 10 minutes of this quarter.
If they just haven't been able to capitalise too much, and that's a strong mark taken by Cleary. Cleary goes to the wing, but Wish Wilson. Now here is a man who's starting to get his hands on the ball, and I don't mind him going back towards the centre half back position, and because he'll start to gain some confidence from there. And Ling tries to flick it over towards Standen, but out the back, standing tall, is Bastic for Hutchins. They're setting up very, very nicely. Here is Wish Wilson. He is having a stellar couple of minutes. Big long ball looking for Alex Hugh, who can't bring that one down. There is Langford. He just burrows his way in. A quick kick off the ground. Here is Hudson. Hudson turns that one around and put that one through. So good play there by the Ships.
Yeah, and that's the player we spoke about a little earlier on, was Hudson going forward, being able to sort of be quite a good little foil for Speedy with all the focus around him. Paul should get his hands on the ball, and clearly he's just done that. And I like Wish Wilson going behind the ball too.
Excuse me. Well, you can see here that the game has really tightened up, Fabian. It is OHA 5-1-31, trailing Hutchins 7-2-44. And as you, alluded to, OHA have certainly had the better of the game in these last 10 minutes. And one of the features has been Wish Wilson going behind the ball.
It has, and his ability to use and make the right decisions is important for OHA, and hence the reason they're getting more scoring opportunities. There
he is again. He's beaten to it on this particular occasion, as coming out hard is Harry Nichols. All their good work could come undone because Tommy Bowcom picks it up, and he goes around the back and runs into an open goal, and just like that, right a siren of half time, Hutchins have got that goal back. So at half time in the grand final, it is Hutchins 8-2-50 to OHA 5-1-31. For the leaders, it is Georgie Burberry with a goal, William Burgess with 2, Tommy Triffett, Hamish Kingston, And Tom Balcombe has got 3 goals, and for OHA it is Brodie Langford who's got 2. Then we've got Chambers, Stanton and Hudson with that last one. But there were quite a few changes, and especially with Wilson going behind the ball, that OHA got back in. They'd be disappointed that they leaked that late goal though, Fabian.
Yeah, they would. Another change I'd like to see made too would be, you know, Speedy's a very accomplished midfielder. You know, as you mentioned before, there's no next week and no time to get it right. So it wouldn't hurt to try and change the structure a little bit more and throw him through the middle of the ground. Potentially have a bit more of a defensive ruckman to give another midfielder an opportunity to win ascendancy through there and give themselves first use of the footy, because Paul Hudson's certainly a good goal kicker.
Yep.
Alex Hill would be another opportunity to press forward. He can kick goals also.
Yeah, they do have plenty of options, and if someone hasn't been, the ball hasn't been delivered to them, I don't mind them coming up. And that's what happened when Wish Wilson was given a role more behind the ball, and that'll give him great confidence. And as you quite rightly said, he used it so well, didn't he? He
does. He's a smart footy player, and he brings other guys into the game. And I think that was a direct result of Paul Hudson starting to get his hands on the footy. And I know we mentioned these guys consistently, but when they play well, OHA play well. So Alex Hill has had a quiet afternoon so far, so he's an option to go deep forward. We've seen at statewide league level he can be swung at both ends of the ground with great success, and I don't believe he's been used well enough today. So pushing him forward, deep forward, would be pretty good. Well, it's been 7 shots to 6, but it is. Oh, sorry. Let's have a look here. No, I apologise. 8-2, wasn't it? So what have we got there? 10-6. That was right. So Hutchins looking really good. OHA really came back hard. So it's all set up for a wonderful, wonderful second half. So Fabian, we're going to take a half-time break. Ladies and gentlemen, we very much hope you are enjoying the coverage of the MCMF Old Scholars Grand Final. Of course, a big shout out to our other partners, the Cascade Draft, a wonderful brewery there. Fabian, we might partake in just 1 or 2 at the end of the game, and Icon Clothing. So half time again here. We're going to take a break and be back with the second half very shortly.
So welcome back here to North Hobart Oval as that rain is becoming a little bit steadier as the teams make their way back onto the ground, and a very refreshed looking Hutchins team. Well, Fabian and I went down to the OHA rooms and the coach was imploring on his players to, this is the last game of the year, and he wanted more effort, more energy around the ball. He wanted more desperation, and he really wasn't that happy with some of the intent that some of their prime movers have been putting on display for the OHA faithful here today in the grand final.
Yeah, he was pretty animated, Bunga, but I actually think they don't need to improve too much to actually get right back into this game of footy. They probably just need to make it easier for their midfielders and forwards when they win possession of the ball. Probably control it a little bit more, rather than blazing away and trying to hit up the middle of North Hobart. Just go laterally, hold the footy, wait for blokes to present.
Well, all but for that last goal by Tommy Balcom, it was very much a fantastic quarter by OHA. It was just unfortunate for them and the sense of the game that they leaked that really easy goal where Balcom ran into the open goal down out back. Yeah,
that's right. Let's hope that that OHA have made some changes in the middle of the ground and try and get some prime movers more into the middle of the ground, maybe a little bit more experience. Now it's slowed down. We spoke about Trent standing in the middle of the ground, potentially throwing Alex Hill forward. I think things like that can really turn it really quickly for them.
So putting your coach's hat on, is that some of the things that you're asking for as the players are going out? Can you see in those groups of sixes any major structural changes out there?
Not at this stage, and I was big on quite trying to make a defensive ruckman against Cleary because he's a clear winner. His ability to hit the ball at the feet of his prime movers to give them first use of the footy. OHA really need to stop that.
Yeah, well, OHA, they looked a little bit messy when the ball went forward as against Hutchins. Looked like more that they were the ones who more likely to score. But anyway, it's going to be very, very interesting to see how we go. But it all comes down to this third quarter. It's the major prime moving quarter as Ling takes possession of the ball, and it does go forward. Well played by Ling. It's a big opportunity for OHA. A little bit fumbly there as William Hay picks that one up for an advancing Hutchins. Burberry picks that one up again. He looks magnificent, and he goes onto his left foot. Very good on both sides of the body. A big spoil there by Tommy Triffett. Here they go. They're advancing early as Kingston tries to pick it up. He gains a valuable metre, does the loping Hamish Kingston. And within 34 seconds of this third quarter, Hutchins are into attack.
It looks as though Shane Bradford's been moved forward, which is a really good move. He's very quick, so he can hit up the ground quite nicely.
I'll be interested to keep your eye as well on Burberry, who was a major headache for them. They tried the hard tag, which probably didn't work that much, and it looks to me like Damon Paul has certainly moved off him. You can see he's got his arm across Zach Berry there, so maybe they're just going to play a bit loose on him, or maybe it looks like Dylan Grant has gone to his Ling, takes possession of their ball. Here is Kingston at the back, and holding him up in that one, it'll be a ball up.
I actually think Matty Ling has gone to Burberry.
Yep. I don't mind that, because he'll run with him and then he'll also get the ball. So that's more an attacking move, I would have thought, by
Absolutely.
OHA.
I think that's a good move.
Terrific. So there is Langford, who comes out. He was on all fours. The Ships working hard. Allenby doing the bullocking work inside 50 now. Stanton at the back. Here is an advancing Hudson. Hudson round the body. It's going close towards the goals, and it's through. It's a goal to the Ships, and here they come. That's really got the big crowd up on their feet, Fabian Ackroyd.
Getting Hutto closer to the goals is certainly a big plus. Gets his hands on the footy, and he can kick them, as we know.
Oh, that was nice play by Hudson. He doesn't need too many possessions to be dangerous, and his nostrils flared when he came towards the goals. Doesn't he love a goal?
He got the barrel-chested movement going. He was quite good, wasn't he?
We can say all the superlatives, the pigeon toe, the barrel chest, but I tell you what, she's 6 points on the board to the big forward for OHA, and that'll build some belief as the ball is back in towards the centre of the ground. What they need now, do the Ships, is to keep going and get the next one. But Hutchins are a quality outfit. You don't get to be 7-1 for no reason at all. As there is that umpire, as they come in, they bend down, and the theatrics are where they spread the arms. It's holding the ball, and Ling's been very, very good. As you can see, the ball comes over the back. Hay is there. Lumbers slightly, under a little bit of pressure. Back inside, Dougal Morrison, back to Al Corso. Al Corso did very nicely. I like the way he held the ball, drew the player. Big Damon Cruz going back. Well played by him. Another by hand, Wish Wilson. He's been terrific since he's gone back. Shimmy there by Noy, and I've loved the work of Noy so far in the game. But it's an errant kick, and it's out of bounds, and it's going to be a free kick going to Cody Baker in the last line of defence for the Ships.
I think OHA's ability in the early part of the third quarter to put pressure on the ball carrier, which is forcing these turnovers, they've certainly had the better go of it early.
We can see there that there was certainly applied pressure by the Ships in those early stages as they're getting their hands on the ball. Ray Hill, long kick, one-on-one competition. Langford tries to bring it down. There is Stanton. He comes from behind and pulls him down, and that really lifts them. And they're starting to come alive here at the North Hobart Oval. Stanton arches his back. He goes in towards the goals, and he puts another one through, and here come the Ships. Well, this game has really come to life here now, Fabian.
It certainly has, and he doesn't need a lot of opportunities, Trent, to get his hands on the ball, but the quick movement out of defence there and more precise from OHA, whether I guess they were prepared to hit the target up rather than blaze away, gave their forwards better opportunity. And that's what Speedy needs.
Well, gee whiz, Hutchins looks so assured and comfortable within the start of that first half. And now, all of a sudden, here come the Ships. Very, very good performance so far, and the game has certainly come to life as Hutchins just bullocked their way forward. And at the moment, everything is going right for the Ships as Skeggs takes possession. Comes out, well spotted to Heavey. Heavey goes the shorter kick, trying to find Langford. Falls to the front to Grant. Grant inside 50. And the big crowd that have gathered here, of course, we have the capacity Fabian, really enjoying this contest, and it certainly is a contest that we have here in the 2020 Grand Final.
Hopefully this is the OHA that we were looking for at the start of the game. It's come out in the third quarter.
Yeah, very much so. There is Cleary, who's been brilliant for Hutchins. Nice play by Owen. Flicks that out. You can see that the pressure there to just go the quick kick, and the way that Ray Hill put his head back there was to say that that ball had just bounced inside the line, and it will be a boundary throw in. So umpire Duffy will throw this one in. So with 6 minutes gone in the third quarter, the Ships have gone forward a few times, looked dangerous, and of course have scored those 2 goals. There is Allenby, who picks it up as the free kick has gone here to Hutchins. Nice kick, taking their time, slower build up. Tommy Triffett takes possession of the ball. He looks inside, he decides to go short. That was well worked by Hutchins. You can see here now, that's Zach Berry. Berry, long kick in, looking towards right. He's dispossessed by Skeggs. I tell you what, he's playing really well. Gets it over to Wish Wilson, playing a tremendous role down back. Fast advancing is Dougal Morrison. Handballs out further afield. There is Triffett, goes inside. Paul wraps him up in the tackle, and he wasn't going anywhere, and I think that's a fair result. No prior, and it will be thrown up. It's towards the Hutchins goal.
Hoppy, I think something that's been pretty evident in the first part of this third quarter has been their ability around the stoppages. They're winning clearances now,
yes,
which has given their forwards first opportunity. They're sort of at the least breaking even.
Yeah, very much so. And here is a big chance going forward. It slips over the top to Will Ford. He had plenty of time there, Fabian.
He did. I just don't think the players behind him were probably talking to him enough, actually.
Well, an opportunity is missed, but another score goes on to the Ships scoreboard. They are advancing. They are 7-2-44, trailing Hutchins 8-2-50. That, I think, is Allenby. A left-footed player goes onto his wrong side, and the consummate team player is Allenby as he looks inside and finds a great target in Paul Hudson. And I know off camera you were a little bit critical of this man, Fabian, and I think that because the only reason why you knew how good a player he is. And hasn't he come alight in this third quarter?
He certainly has. I was very keen to see him closer to goal.
And he is now. So he's got a couple. You can see what lie in front of him. He goes back and he slotted it for a goal here. And within a blink of an eye, ladies and gentlemen, as we just check the scoreboard in the Murdoch Clark Mortgage Fund Management Old Scholars Grand Final, it is Hutchins 8-2-50, OHA 8-2-50. If you're watching out there, and I know that you've got plenty of people are, do not go anywhere. Fabian Ackroyd, we have got a magnificent grand final here at North Hobart Oval.
We certainly have, and they've tightened up in the middle of the ground, which is giving them every opportunity. That's what we're asking.
So with 9.5 minutes gone, it has been all the Ships so far. And they are advancing again, and they are prepared to put their body on the line. They go inside again. There is Ray Hill charging at the ball. You can see the pressure being applied. Well done by Bradford. Comes out towards Langford. Oh, he might have been held without it as appealing as he pushed his way in. Pretty cagey there, Fabian, wasn't he? He actually pushed his way back into the Hutchins defender, and the umpire was having none of that, and it's going to need another ball in. That scoreboard side. Wonderful scoreboard now, isn't it, Fabian, with all that electronics?
Oh, it's fantastic. It's very, very good.
So there is Heavey, Martinovic. Good contest. It's very, very close to the line. There is Langford, tries to get it over towards Standen, who we know he'll look towards the goals. Very, very hot ball as Ling just gets it further afield, and just the minor score But, Fabian Ackroyd, that is the first time the Ships have been in front.
It is, and it's interesting to see how Hutchins will respond to this, because OHA have really putting some pressure on him around the ball, but certainly now finally hitting the scoreboard.
So, Balcombe takes that kick across half-back. Normally uses the ball pretty well. But on this particular occasion, chipping in is Triffett, taking a very, very nice mark, especially with that damp, greasy ball. He goes towards the forward line, and big Will Hay comes out, puts the big Duke up and pots it out. So well played there by Nobby Hay. He's a very, very strong backman. Good tall fella, good cut of a lad, the 22-year-old. There is another good ruck contest. Down is Tommy Balcombe. He is beset upon by a resurgent OHA. Again, Langford trying to get up. He's being closely held on to. As going back is Skeggs. I had my hand over my eyes there, Fabian. That was a tough ball to win. But now they're under plenty of pressure as Harry Nichols gets the ball. He gets it further afield looking for Dark. Goes back over towards Noy, but all the cavalry have come back for the Ships as they're fighting really hard. They'll be happy if that's a ball up, and that was a good win for OHA.
Very good win for OHA. You could see Hutchins prepared to run forward of the footy and their ability to share it around, which was good, but unfortunately for them on that occasion, it didn't come off. So what can they do now? That's great tackling by Hutchins. And well done by their forwards to keep that ball in. That was Jamie Clark on that particular occasion. So well played by Skeggs as they go the tap out. Held on play. There's a couple of tough looking roosters for the Ships down there. You got your crew. Look at him there with that big beard. He's got the ink down the left arm, breathing all over you. I tell you what, I don't know that I'd like to be standing next to a big hombre like that as Wish Wilson goes up, and he is just coming of age in this grand final since he's gone down back. He's been the difference, I think, Hoppy. He's controlling them down back. He certainly has. As a lead comes out, I think an arm has been hit, and that's the way the umpire has seen it. I think it was Lewis Franks who came over the top of Ray Hill. Hill's starting to get a little bit of a use of the ball. He's gone high and wide, looking for it might have been Skeggs, but he can't bring it in. So I'd like in that instance for Ray to actually look to his left, look across the ground and control the ball a little bit more. To continue to kick down the line probably hurts them. Yeah, just take a little bit longer. I mean, you don't have to play on the... Once you've got the ball in your hands, you've got the game in your hands, and you don't have to play until the umpire tells you. So just settle it down, because at the moment the pressure is on the Hutchins boys, who have done everything right in the early stages. Picking that one up is Lewis Noy, who for Hutchins had a really good game. Here is Balcombe, though. He evades one, very classy. The old blind turn out of trouble. Here comes Burgess. He has played very, very closely. Good attention by Damon Crew. And the ball is seen out. Damon Crew, of course, is one of the co-captains. The two boys from down in the Lauderdale area, Damon and Cody Baker is the other one. Ball in. Good ruck contest. Well, the game has certainly come to light here at North Hobart Oval. At the start of the game, of course, Hutchins came out of the blocks with the first 2 goals, as they did do in the reserves competition. The only difference was OHA had the answers, and then really OHA have been chasing, but they've done a good job to not only chase, but they're just in front now as Hutchins go inside their 50, and this is where they certainly do look dangerous, and Kingston got himself into a really dangerous position. And I think it was Jamie Ford who came over the top there, Fabian, and that was because the forward was leading out and got into a good, strong, commanding position, and the only way the defender was going to be able to spoil was to reach over the top. Yeah, he protected his space really well there, which is important for a forward, especially on a wet day. So Kingston, he's got the Sharon, not the Kookaburra this time, as he goes towards goal.
He's pushed that one across the goal. And it's all level here at North Hobart Oval. 8-3, 51 apiece. Nearly 16 minutes gone in the grand final. Flying high there was Bastic. Couldn't take clean possession. Good hands. Further afield by OHA. Couldn't take possession, but they got valuable meterage. It was almost as good as a kick with those two punches. And right in front of the Miller stand to be another ball in. Burberry has certainly been quieter in this third quarter, Fabian.
Yeah, he has. I think it's a bit of a combination. Ling went to him early, but it's a combined effort by OHA. They're shutting him down.
And that's probably the way to go. Here is Allenby. That is Ben, one of the two brothers. Of course, their dad, Greg, was a champion player and a dual premiership player at OHA. Played in that very famous victory in '82 against Hutchins, and he was in the team of the century. And the boys are now trying hard to get a grand final medal themselves, as at the bottom of the pack there is Matty Ling, and it'll be another ball up.
Seems that OHA have gone into half-time. They've obviously made some pretty good positional changes, which has got them back into this game of footy. Structurally, they look a lot better in this third quarter.
I agree. Frank, sorry. In vain, as Wish Wilson has come across and provided a really good punch. Yeah, since Wish Wilson hasn't had to lead forward, he's just led at the ball. He has certainly looked a much better player. As there is the boundary throw in. Well done by Heavey. Heavey's done very well in the ruck as well. It's Balcom for Hutchins, who's being very creative. It's a ball that's in dispute, and that's because of that inclement weather. I think that rain has stopped now, Fabian, hasn't it?
Yeah, it certainly has, which has evened the contest up a little bit.
So it's all to play for here in the grand final. Nearly 18 minutes gone. Well played there by Allenby for the Ships, but it's picked up there by Jamie Clark. He gets the kick over. Here is Kingston. Kingston, he has looked pretty dangerous when he has led to the ball. He has got the one goal, but it's more those quick entries with those fleet of foot brigade like Balcom and Burgess of where Hutchins have looked the more dangerous.
Balcom's had a good game. He's got plenty of the footy.
Absolutely, as just soccering that one off the ground. Here goes Hutchins back over. That was Bastic. Wasn't as clean as he needed to be on that particular occasion.
The movement off the footy too for Hutchins seems to have slowed down a little bit, Hop. Their energy levels seem to have dropped, which has allowed OHA to take a bit more ascendancy as well. I
agree. That was Lewis Franks further afield, and Jamie Clark has marked that ball. He plays on quickly onto his left boot. Hutchins have the numbers as Wright's there very cleverly for a small forward, front and centre. Oh, as Kingston was going towards that open goal, and desperation shown on the last line of defence. I think that was Chambers, and he put his body on the line there, Fabian.
Yeah, he certainly did, and Gabby come in with a bit of a question mark around his fitness, but certainly showed today that how valuable he is to the footy side. Oh, very much so. As that front and centre again is Hutchins in the right place at the right time. They've got numbers. Here is Burberry, beautifully picks it up, and he doesn't blaze away. He lifts his eyes and he sees that Tommy Triffett has made good position, whereas OHA turned that ball over, so they went into an offensive lineup. They dropped off their players, and Triffett has benefited from that lovely kick by Burberry. And Triffett, who has already got one goal, Fabian, is going back to have a set shot on goal. Just Burberry's ability to lower his eyes then instead of blazing away in the heat of the moment was top class. Certainly is. He's a tough, uncompromising player, is Triffett, the 32-year-old, but he leant back on it. I like it when you go and have a shot for goal, just keep those shoulders really square towards the centre of the goal.
a minimum of efficiency, keep the hands low and kick through. But he leant back a little bit, didn't he?
He tried to get a little bit of distance, I think, with a bit of a wet ball.
So that's a kick in. And just talking of wet ball, Burberry has done that with a dry ball. That was a brilliant mark. Standing tall there is Damon Crew. A little bit of a crude tackle, but umpire lets that one run, and that's fair enough. As backing into it, that's Will Ford, who applies the tackle for the Ships.
Gee, we can see on the outside here, probably just off screen, that Hutchins are setting up really well. They've got two loose guys. They've just been picked up now, but if that ball came loose, they're in a bit of trouble.
Gee, it's great to have the inside. That's another good tackle. Burberry wheels around, gets it to Berry. Can't pick it up. There is Damon Paul at the bottom. And now for the last few patches of play, it's just tightened up a little bit. You can just sense the crowd feel quite tense, don't they?
They certainly do, and Hutchins have had some opportunities in the last 4 or 5 minutes, but like OHA early, didn't capitalise, so they probably need to do that. OK, well, here go Hutchins. They have it in their 50, and they have done for the last few minutes, Fabian, but they just haven't been able to score because their forward line looks a little bit messy because of the hard running of the Ships. Yeah, the Ships have turned it around. They've got a hell of a lot more disciplined around the contest and the opponents, which is important. Nice work there by Kingston for Hutchins. Here they go again. He's got it to a really dangerous area and a dangerous player. And Burberry has put it through for a goal. And I got to put that brilliant assist down to Hamish Kingston on that occasion. Hamish has been really good up forward. Yes, he has. And he's been a bit unlucky at times, as we've seen a moment ago. But, gee, the class of Burberry around that forward half. He only needs a couple of metres to smack goals through like that on both sides of his body too. Interesting. See, he is having a bit of a spell down there forward. And it looks like Wish Wilson... No, I say someone else is now covering him. But, yeah, I don't mind that at all. So if you need a break... he'd be the last bloke I'd be taking off, Fabian. So if you want to spell, son, you just go down to the forward line because I don't think any defender would like to stand next to you. Absolutely. I think it'd be more positional too. Yep. They've struggled to score, so get some class around the forward half. So Langford couldn't pick it up, so he goes the fist as Lewis Franks charges his way forward, and playing in front is Noy. Noy goes the short, but there's been a free kick. A whistle. And 50. Oh, this is costly, is it? Oh, no, it's back to OHA. All right, so it was behind play then, Fabian, that Damo Paul was held on to. Burberry grabbed him. It looked like it was going the other way, but, yeah, the umpire paid it. All right, then, so Matthew Wright picks it up. Well played by Wrighty. He goes in his attempt to bring the ball back. Didn't quite get the purchase on it. And it's gone out of bounds. So Wish Wilson will take the free kick here for the Ships. Ethan Wish Wilson down the line. There was nothing on. He held on to it. Gee, I've been impressed by OHA in the third quarter. They copped a bit of a, and rightly so, a bit of a rouse at half time. But they've come out the way that we thought that they might have started, and are really making Hutchins work for every possession. There's no loose possessions like Hutchins were getting in the first half. Oh, absolutely, that is the case. As there is Allenby was over the ball, couldn't pick it up, so he goes there. Well played by Damon Crew. He affects that spoil, but Hutchins were good enough to go out wide, and here's where it is dangerous as Burberry comes out, sliding in underneath it. Well played by the OHA defender. I think it was Paul and Triffett with a very, very good contest. And it's going to be another ball up as the last two up. In fact, it was Elliot Noy for Hutchins and Alex Triffett for OHA. Hill against Cleary. Two big men going hard at it. Both transfixed only on the football. As picking it up is Ling. I've noticed, Hoppy, too, every time there's a bit of a scrimmage or a stoppage, you have multiple Hutchins players running on the outside of the contest, not so much going to the core face, which, if they can get clean possession, they cause OHA a lot of damage going forward. Yeah, very much so. So that was a really good steadying goal a few minutes ago by Georgie Burberry, as Allenby
Ben, who's starting to get a little bit of the ball. Very creative player. Comes down to Alcorso. Alcorso, he kicks it. He's gone the early crow and put the hand up towards the goal, and it's just drifted across. That's always dangerous, Fabian.
Very dangerous. He celebrated very early. It looked home too and drifted late.
So another behind to Hutchins as they just move on to 9-6-60 to 8-3-51. Well played there by William Burberry. Back inside, looking for George. Can't pick it up. And all of a sudden now, it's like one of those arm wrestles. You can see it's just going from one end to the other. They're really fighting back a Hutchins at the moment, aren't they? And just trying to wrestle that ascendancy which OHA had.
Yeah, gee whiz, another goal here for either side is going to be super important going into three-quarter time.
There's no doubt about that, as that ball ends up to Damien Paul. Comes now further field, well picked up by a fast-running Lewis Franks for the Ships. There is Allenby. He quickly gives the handball out. And so now OHA under plenty of pressure. They go up the side and just chipping in front of Alex Hill. I think there was Henry Johnston with a very, very important interception. You can hear that the crowd are very much involved. Cleary, but it's Ben Allenby really starting to get plenty of the ball. Comes over the back, well picked up. I think that might have been Skeggs. It goes towards Standen, but wearing him like an absolute cheap suit was Larry Owen, who I think hasn't had that many possessions, Fabian, but he has kept Standen to 2 goals, but he's played a very effective role.
He plays tall and small. He's a very good player, actually. Reads the ball well. And as you can see now, he's not afraid to sort of push up the ground and try and hurt his opponent.
Very much so. As Hutchins, they had the spare there and they went across and did that well. Here they come down the commentary side as that comes towards Lewis Noy. Then with Franks, he is dead set to set upon, and then the Ships appeal. They demand the ball and they've got it, and Jamie Clark kicks it long, looking for Standen, who decided to stay down. It was Harry Allenby the target there, couldn't bring it in, and Martinovic. And so it's deep into the attack now for the Ships. Here is that throw in. Lovely throw in. Cleary gets the tap. Goes to the advantage. Langford decides to go the bump instead of the tackle. And he goes towards Burberry. Back through the centre of the ground. Skeggs is there and he's trying to get it out. No real prior. And it's going to be a ball up. So it's just about in the centre of the ground. It's deep into this third quarter, just about 29 minutes gone. Nick Cleary has just been magnificent in the ruck for Hutchins, as that's a strong tackle being applied there by the Ships. I thought that was going to go to Triffett. Unfortunate fumble as Paul was slightly clumsy. Did hear a whistle, but now it is play on. You can see it's quite a greasy ball. There is Matthew Wright, and Damon Crew comes through like a steam train, and he's kicked it off the ground, and he's got that about 40 metres. So that was clever by Crew. Martinovic comes back inside towards Ling. Ling quickly gets that effective kick in towards the forward 50. There is Standen, 1 on 3. He's battling hard. He just loses his footing. There is Will Ford. He applies a strong tackle. The tackling is ferocious out there at the moment. It is tackle after tackle after tackle, as it is three-quarter time as the siren has sounded here for the grand final, which sees OHA 8-4-52 trailing Hutchins 9-6-60. For Hutchins, it is George Burberry with 2 goals, William Burgess 2 goals, Tommy Triffett 1, Hamish Kingston 1, and Tommy Balcombe 3. For OHA, Paul Hudson 3, Brodie Langford 2, Trent Stanton 2, Gabby Chambers 1. Fabian, 8 points the difference. We are got a cracker of a last quarter.
We have. I think it was a combination of probably Hutchins losing a little bit of intensity and energy around the footy, and their preparedness to run forward. But I think OHA at half time got their matchups right.
Yep.
They finally figured out some good matchups through the middle of the ground, and their forward setup clearly was a lot better, which gave them the opportunities to kick goals quick.
Yeah, well, Tommy Balcom, of course, was really dangerous in the first half and kicked those goals out the back. He changed up, probably went in the midfield. I thought Kingston was really good. He got a goal. He also provided for some bullocking work to handball back inside, and they did look dangerous. Of course, Wish Wilson very effective down back. Damon Crew was pretty solid in that last quarter. Well, just cast your eye over the field now, Fabian Ackroyd, and I'm going to hold you to this when the siren goes. Where to from here?
Look, I think in reality, if Hutchins hadn't kicked that goal at half time with probably 1 or 2 seconds to go, we're pretty much level pegging. So OHA have certainly got themselves back in the game. It will be determined basically on Hutchins' work ethic. I think if they get up and about again and run in waves like they were doing earlier on, they're going to be hard to stop. That said, OHA, they're certainly in the game of footy. Paul Hudson, Trent Standen, they get their hands on the footy forward, they can cause a mess in this last quarter.
Very much so. So, ladies and gentlemen, now is your chance, like us, to take our breath. We're going to get a quick drink, and it's now a chance to have a quick break, and we're going to be back with what will be a very, very exciting last quarter of the Old Scholars Grand Final very shortly. So welcome back, and it all comes down to this. It is the last quarter of the Murdoch Clark Mortgage Fund Management Old Scholars Grand Final for 2020. It is all to pay for. OHA were very stoic in that third quarter. They hit back hard, 8-4-52, trailing Hutchins 9-6-60. They just settled in that last part, did the Mighty Lions, and was a handy goal. So it's going to be very, very interesting, that first goal, to get the momentum for your team, as it is a second stoppage. And Nick Cleary picks himself up the ground. He just keeps going and going. As you can see, he tries to apply a tackle, but it is the Ships who come out of the centre. And running hard and getting his arms out is Will Ford, and has taken a very nice mark. And for a man who started down back again, Fabian, he's looked dangerous since he's gone forward.
Presented very well, yep.
So it is. Will Ford is going back to have a shot on goal. Just taking his time here. He comes in. Gets good distance, but not quite enough. The accuracy was there and just fell short and through for the minor score. Ball comes back in. Allenby showed great courage. Back inboard. It was Heavey. Just a quick kick. Hutchins have the numbers. Out comes Hudson. Brings the ball to the front and centre. And again, Hutchins seemed to have the numbers to clear. It was Baker there. He's beaten to it by Nichols. Comes through the middle. And they've got plenty of space. And they're running hard. Here come Hutchins through the agency of Nichols. Nichols, Baker. Baker, Nichols. You can see it was a close race. Well played. Oh, gets it back towards Burberry. Burberry goes in towards the goal. And it's gone out of bounds to the light of the OHA supporters. But he made good ground there, Fabian, didn't he, Burberry, to be on the end of that handball?
Yeah, so did Nichols. Nichols made a really good fist of that. He had nothing for about 60 metres there.
So I think that was good play by Hutchins. They, in that first minute there, Fabian, they were put under pressure down back, and you could see their transition, how quickly they moved it down to their forward line.
Yeah, they're very dangerous. Quick ball movement causes OHA some problems.
So a ball in here. 2 minutes gone. It doesn't find its way towards the ruckman, but tremendous work by Cleary. Gets the kick in, and backing back is Ben Allenby. He saw the advancing Burberry and he put up the big right duke and punched that one. It's a consummate defender to the safety of the boundary line as the ruckmen are in readiness for this boundary throw in. It is Skeggs who takes it out of the ruck. And one of the better players for the Ships, but this time it's roved by Franks. Franks in towards the forward line, and it just rolls over the back as Kingston came out to try and mark it. So the first couple of forward thrusts here, Fabian, have gone to Hutchins. It's Wish Wilson who kicks it in. Ling, he's at the bottom trying to just barge his way forward, and with three Hutchins men standing in front of him, there was no way known he was going to get through. So it's going to be another ball up. Umpire just talking to the players of what he expects. Well played by Ling, just gains a valuable metre. And they're crucial at this stage. It's not a matter of how pretty you get it towards your goal, but as long as you do get it towards your goal. You can see a little bit of aggression showed there by Morrison. He obviously wasn't happy with something, but we're back here as Hutchins trying to find their way out. It was Matty Wright who showed courage to pick the ball up, and then he was tackled high as Wright does a good job there with that kick towards Dark. Dark quickly off the mark, long raking kick. This is danger for the Ships, but brilliant work there. Very stoic in defence by the big man. That was a good mark there, Fabian,
yeah,
by Damon Crew.
Certainly was.
So the ball has just been left on the wing as OHA have been rewarded for that one, and it's Will Ford. Ford goes the short kick. He has to be accurate, and he is on this particular occasion as Bradford takes the mark. Bradford looking for options. Not a lot in front of him. So he decides just to put it to the top of the square. Where are the runners? There is Standen who comes out. He can't take clean possession. That forward entry wasn't great because Hutchins had plenty behind the ball. There is Balcombe, goes onto his left foot. Here's a chance for the quick runners, and it's Nichols who proved his worth in that last race to the ball. Baker spills that one, but he's good enough to get it out. You can see now that players may be taking their eye off the ball slightly, and it's a little bit damp. You can't do that as it comes inside. This is danger. Picked up by Triffett. Goes back towards the goal, and it's just swung across there. And at the moment, it is Hutchins are doing all the attacking, Fabian.
We've got very different game styles, Hoppy, as we've seen all day. Hutchins' ability to spread and run, and OHA seem to be going more direct.
So there is Ray Hill goes for it. Balcombe is there. Balcombe gets a quick kick, and that is Lewis Noy. He quickly wheels around. Skeggs is underneath it. Did a good job to stand his ground. Handball's back over. They've spilled it now. Hutchins pick it up. Handballing. They've got plenty of players running hard as Kingston drives it in towards the goals, and that's a second behind. So now it is Hutchins who are doing a really good job in this last quarter with 6 minutes gone. They've looked more likely to score, but Ford does a nice job. He sells a bit of candy as he goes back inside. Here's a good contest. Running hard is Stanton. You can see here Larry Owen did a really kept up the speed. It goes towards Ling. Talking of speed, here is Stanton and run down. What about that brilliant play there by Larry Owen? And look at all these players come up and say congratulations. That was just from the top shelf, Fabian.
Yeah, that's fantastic. As a coach, you just love that. That's team lifting.
It certainly is. And now the ball has gone out of bounds. So just checking the scores, it is Hutchins 9-9-63 to OHA 8-6-54. We're just getting that one up, and beautiful work. There it is. So our Corso comes through the centre of the ground, and a nice mark taken by Skeggs down back. Skeggs comes out looking for Baker, and Baker with a fast advancing Harry Nichols stood very tall then. Baker, long raking kick. Ray Hill tried to mark, but good spoil. And you wonder when we talk about this game later on, Fabian, how important that run and chase of Larry Owen will be in the contest.
I think they might look back on it pretty favourably later, but that said, OHA need to get a quick one here, and it's game on again.
Very much so. Ball in dispute. Hutchins trying to move it forward. With 8 minutes gone, a bit of the scoring has dried up, but the intensity hasn't, and the interest in the game is there as it's a very, very tight encounter.
Been impressed by Nichols from Hutchins. He does a lot of work off the ball that aren't necessarily possessions, but his work ethic's fantastic.
Absolutely. Matty Wright kicks it further afield, and Burberry is leading out. He's looked very dangerous down forward. Burberry gets it into an advancing Kingston, and Hamish Kingston has grabbed onto that one and is going back to have a shot to potentially give Hutchins a very, very handy break at about the 9 minute mark of this last quarter. We spoke about him, Fabian, in that third quarter. He did a really good job. He looked dangerous.
Just a class of Burberry there to be able to spot him and hit him into the open space.
So here comes Kingston, and the Hutchins boys like it. In fact, they love it. Well played there by Hamish Kingston to go back and kick that goal. But as you quite rightly said, Fabian, it was the eyes up and the skill of George Burberry to find his man.
I've just been, again, really impressed with Hutchins' ability to keep that forward 50 open to allow these guys to do their business inside.
Yep.
You know, there's a lot of unrewarded running that's come from Hutchins to open that space off, and then a bit like the old Pagans paddock, I guess, where they open it up and then all push back. Yeah,
very much so. So it is back in the middle as Heavey just bludgeons that ball out of the centre, gaining valuable meterage. They need to find something. You wonder if the Ships spent all their petrol tickets getting back in the game in that third quarter, and what have they got left? Been deemed holding the ball. So the free kick will indeed go to OHA, and so is a big opportunity for them to get this goal back, Fabian.
Yeah, there is. It's against the tide as well, Hoppy. They kick this, and again, they're sort of, not that they're completely out of the contest, but all the momentum certainly with Hutchins at the moment, so this will be really handy.
Yeah, it has been in this last quarter. And now Ships going towards the goal. We can see that Cleary's appealing that it's hit the post, but it certainly hasn't. And that's a tremendous goal there to the Ships. And Dylan Grant, I liked his confidence there, Fabian, when he went back. He just went back, he kept his eyes transfixed on the big sticks, and then just came in and kicked it with all that he had. And the Ships are very much in the game as they are 9-6-60. Hutchins 10-9-69.
Yeah, you love to see that with a player go back, take it upon himself to kick the goal. Important moment.
Very much so. Cleary gets it out. Working hard though. Here they go again. Here's the man who got that goal. Grant further afield. Almost some party tricks there as Will Ford, it just slipped out, but he had the skill to maintain possession. As you can see the grimaces on the faces of those players as the rain is coming down, with everything to play for, with nearly 12 minutes gone in the grand final.
I've been impressed by Heavey too in the last half. He sort of broke even quite well with Cleary, which has given OHA again at least a 50-50 opportunity around the stoppages. So he's lifted his game. Very
much so. So that ball has hit the post, and it'll be a boundary throw in, very much in that danger area here for OHA, as we just checking out how that forward line is lining up. Hutchins have got a few numbers back, and well worked by the big man. Gets it towards our Corso, and this is where, Hutchins have been dangerous on the break. As picking it up was Alex Triffett. He goes out to the side, and have a look at the numbers from Hutchins working hard. They came from everywhere. Wish Wilson showing some poise there. Gets it out to Bradford. Bradford takes the time. Here's a chance. Langford at the front now, trying to keep it in. You can see he put his head over the ball. He was appealing.
OHA did a great job there. They were out. They were quite out there, Hutchins, and OHA defended that beautifully.
You can see Langford was not particularly thrilled that he didn't get reward for his effort at putting the old head over the onion. But our Corso is there. He's bumped off it, so it doesn't go too far forward, but he's good enough to recover and go for it again. At the bottom there is White. It's over the top. It was Ling. Spills out wide, big chance. It was Heavey. He is dispossessed, so Paul just goes off the ground, very much into that danger area, sliding in, taking the legs out, but the umpires have put the whistle away now, as they just said, play on, fellas, as that's the old-fashioned kicking in danger. And Damon Crew just says, I'm going to kick the ball long, but it's going to go back. Is that how you saw that, Fabian?
Yeah.
I think as Burberry came in.
Yeah, it was, Hoppy, absolutely.
I'm not sure if it's called kicking in danger. It was dangerous play, wasn't it? Because the OHA player had his head over the ball.
I guess the last 30 seconds, every player that was in that contest did put their body on the line, so to throw your boot in there was pretty dangerous.
I think that's going to have to be taken again, isn't it?
It's given Hutchins a chance to sort of push themselves behind the ball here too with the hold-up.
So Nobby Hay wasn't too thrilled that they had to take that one again, but I think it wasn't taken over the mark. So it will be Ling. All right now, so Ling, you can see him at the centre of the ground. Fires it in, looking for a mark. And here it is. Langford has taken a very strong mark on a one-on-one contest, man against man. He just had his left elbow out there, Fabian, and he owned that area, and he put his out and clutched onto it. But now, more importantly, Langford needs to fire truly for the Ships.
Probably for the first time in a long time he got the one-on-one, and he's strong in the contest.
So, Brodie Langford kicks towards the goals, and he hasn't let his team or himself down, and that's his third for Brodie Langford. And now it is really tightening up with 15 minutes gone. Don't go anywhere if you're watching this game. It is Hutchins 10-9-69 to OHA 10-6-66.
It's a tight game of footy, Hoppy. It's completely changed, I guess, 180 from the first half, where Hutchins were just running all over top of them. But to OHA's credit, they've fought back really, really well.
Well, I guess if we're to analyse that game, Fabian, Hutchins have been stronger in the second parts of the quarters. So it's going to be really interesting. But they're tails up now, the Ships, if they can keep this momentum going.
They've stopped Hutchins' ability to create space, which is, again, given them more opportunities with the footy.
Well, they go inside again. Here is Langford. He's been a bit of a difference there. Here is Hill. Tries to push that one over, but playing a nice game and coming back. Just hitting that one out was Owen. Very smart footballer. So Hutchins now bring the ball back in. They go towards Cleary, and why wouldn't you? He's been so strong. Here goes into a dangerous area. Oh, they actually spoil each other. It was unfortunate. Comes out towards Ray Hill. And Ray Hill has snapped truly. And the Ships have got their nose in front, Fabian Ackroyd.
I watched Ray just amble out the back of that contest, then create the spare. The ball only had to pop out to him loose, and he'd finish off. And he's very, very dangerous around goals, is Ray.
Yeah, he doesn't need a lot of kicks. He's very creative. And as I said a few minutes ago, Hutchins have had the better of the second parts of the quarter. But the old wet sail of the Ship is starting to get a bit of extra wind in their sail, Fabian Ackroyd.
My word, it is. They're up and about, the Ships.
They certainly are. They are 11-7-73, and at the moment they are in front of Hutchins, 10-9-69. But here come Hutchins, who've had such a stellar season. Wonderful football club, proud school, Burberry. Long raking kick. He's gone for huge meterage. Comes towards Noy. Wish Wilson tackles.
He's gone.
And he's being pinned for holding the ball. Good tackle there by Wish Wilson. Goes the short kick towards Hill. Hill back to Skeggs. We've called those names in Skeggs. Almost a 3-on-1 here as Will Ford is outnumbered. And it's going to be a free kick going here to William Hay. Hay gets the handball. No trouble as it dropped a little bit too short. Strong tackle, but too high. Brave play by the Ship defender. It was our Corso who came over the top there of Chambers. And Chambers now just taking his time. Looking further afield. He's got the blinkers off. As you can see, he wanted to switch there, Fabian, but nothing was on. So he decides to go down the line. Here's Burberry. Oh, beautiful play here. He just backed out of trouble. Goes very, very long, looking for some of his advancing forwards, and coming out, knocking that one out is Jamie Ford for the Ships. And it'll be another ball in. So the ball hasn't been, it's been a bit of a drought down the forward line for Hutchins just in this last patches of play, Fabian.
Yeah, it certainly has. Both sides just need to control the ball a little bit more rather than blazing away. There's still plenty of time left in this game of footy.
Yep, I agree. So it's just about calm heads at the moment need to be shown as Damon Paul goes long. There is Owen at the back of the pack. OHA have got plenty of numbers as well. You can see Langford barging his way forward. Cody Baker gets the hands free. He got the handball out as well, but not before the umpire deemed that he held on too long. And so the free kick went to Jock Dark. Dark.
Been good today too.
He has been.
Hoppy.
Good.
Plenty of touches.
So there is... Well, I'm not sure which way that's going to be played. I reckon that's for chopping the legs, is it? Or is it be kicking in danger?
Kicking in danger, I think, yep.
OK, so dangerous play. And again, I like that for the protection of the person who's prepared to go for the onion.
This guy's been very good, Skeggs. He's controlled their back line. He makes smart decisions when he's got the football.
He has. I've absolutely liked his game. So Skeggs, Wish Wilson down back, been terrific as... Quickly getting his boot to the ball is Dark. Here is Crew. Just goes the big, long kick. And Ford has gone at it. Might be 50 metres here, Fabian.
I think it is.
So as Ford went to kick that ball, I couldn't quite see who it was, but someone from Hutchins ran through the mark, which gave the umpire no option but to give that 50 metres. So a wonderful opportunity for Will Ford to really give some momentum for the Ships deep into this final quarter. So Ford, normally known for a defender,
He's kicked it.
he goes back, and Ford has put it through for a very, very important goal in the context of this game.
Emotion's a big thing in footy. They seem to be driving fairly hard. Their energy levels are up. Hutchins seem to be continuing to try and push the ball forward at all costs when OHA now seem to be controlling the ball a little bit better. It's a pretty seesawing affair, but at the end of the day...
I'm just looking at our scouting notes. It normally says about Will Ford, Fabian, he's a good key marking defender, but with an accurate kick. He's crept forward a few times and kicked a few goals. His marking could be critical today.
Absolutely.
Well, how accurate is that?
Absolutely. As
here go the Ships again. They are really on the march at the moment. Bumped off the ball. Well played by Hutchins. They've got a never die attitude, and they'll fight and fight and fight. That's what they do. At Hutchins, they pick the ball up. Good smother. There is Burberry and Ling, two real hard nuts, and the ball is going to be thrown aloft. And with 22 minutes gone, 10 points the difference. Tremendous game of Australian rules football as these gladiators have been at it, and the umpires picked it out, and Cleary, who I know you've loved the way he goes about it, I certainly have, has given a big opportunity, but Cody Baker cleverly goes back and takes a very timely mark.
Gee whiz, you have to be impressed with OHA. They've turned their game completely around.
They certainly have, and the co-captain decides to go for some of the tall timber and trying to barge their way through. But very, very happy there was Benny Allenby to see the boundary line. And, well, at the moment, time is on OHA side, Fabian.
Yeah, and a bit of momentum too. They certainly are using the ball better than Hutchins at the moment, which is complete contrast.
Very much so, as there is Morrison, effectively done and kicked off the ground. Again is Baker. Every contest is just so crucial at the moment with that slippery ball. And which team is prepared to take it on at the moment? Hutchins understand that they have to take a few risks to get themselves back in this game, Fabian, because they need 2 goals.
They do, and OHA will be fully aware. They had a really tight contest last week, so they're going to be pretty battle hardened, I think, in this instance.
It's an interesting thing that you mentioned that. So put again your coaching hat on. When you come into a game like this and it's in the circumstances, would you rather have had a spell or be used to those close contests?
Well, to be honest, at 3/4 time, I actually thought Hutchins might be a little bit quicker on top of the ground. But those contests for OHA will hold them in pretty good stead by the looks of this.
It does look like that's the case, as, again, another stoppage.
We mentioned at the start of the game OHA's combative, I guess, games leading into this.
Yep. And so there it is, going up. That was Cleary, just having a bit of a kick, and missing that one was Noy, but Wish Wilson is going back and taking the kick. Brilliant performance so far by Ethan Wish Wilson. He goes the kick towards that boundary line. It's close to it, and in fact it has been seen over before Ray Hill gets it, as him and Lewis Franks meander back inside the 50. And another boundary throw in. So Hutchins need to get clean possession and get that ball moving. They're very much in this game because every time they have gone forward, they do look dangerous the way they're set up. That said, if OHA, who find themselves just about inside their 50, Fabian Ackroyd could score a goal.
They're just set up. Their second half, their setups and their ability to create space has been chalk and cheese from the first half, as we can all see.
Very much so. So that ball coming in now. Good throw in. Ruckman do battle. Favours a very, very fast advancing Hutchins in Lewis Noy. But OHA standing tall. That said, a strong mark by Morrison. Morrison tries to play on quickly. The ball is smothered. Langford picks it up. Boots OHA forward. And that's a good a smother, as you'll see, from a forward, as Standen was caught from behind but did a team thing and made sure that Hutchins didn't take possession and knocked it out. And so it's going to be a 50-50 ball from a throw-in.
These stoppages are continued. This is an OHA strength, so this will make it really difficult for Hutchins to get back on the board if they keep creating stoppage after stoppage.
Very much so, as Burberry kicks that one off the ground. I think Hutchins were held a little bit too long in the contest, and that's exactly how the umpire seen it. So I think it's Harry Nichols who takes that kick. He gets it towards the middle of the ground, picked up by Burberry. As soon as he takes possession, he looks very dangerous. Big, strong tackle in the middle of the ground by Martinovic. Gets it back to Crew. Crew quickly just has to blaze away. It's gone high. Standing underneath, it's throwing good courage was Heavey. But here comes the Lions roaring, but going back, couldn't quite take it. All hands on deck. Picking it up, going back inside. Ball, says the crowd, as Charles White goes in to take it. And the adoring crowd of the Ships are thrilled with that one. And Damon Crew has been rewarded, Fabian.
He has. He's had a super game.
Yep, I like the way he goes about his football, Big Damon. Gets it out to Harry Allenby. Long,
dangerous.
raking left foot. Here is Standen. There was what we spoke about as Owen plays on quickly. They know time is against them, so you can't get off the mark and take your time now. To Hutchins, they get this goal and they will be in it. The umpire said it was a mark. He has to give the player the benefit. Unfortunately, I think there, and I have done that before when I've umpired games, you just assume that
there
someone...
it is. She's over. The Ships are won.
But the siren's gone.
Siren's gone.
It is all over here. And the Ships...
What a comeback.
...are victorious in the grand final for 2020. They are elated here at North Hobart Oval. Jubilous scenes here, Fabian, as you can see. They came from the clouds. Hutchins started in a blaze of glory, and the Ships just worked their way back in their never say die attitude, and they've run out victors 12-7-79 to Hutchins 10-9-69 for the victorious Ships. It was Paul Hudson with 3 goals. Brodie Langford with 3 goals. Trent Stanton with 1. Chambers, Grant, Hill and Ford with singles. And for the vanquished, but the very, very brave and lion-hearted Hutchins, it was 3 goals to the elusive Tommy Balcombe, 2 to Hamish Kingston, 2 to Georgie Burberry, who just played a magnificent game, 2 to Will Burgess, and 1 to Tom Triffett. But that was just a wonderful comeback by a resurgent Ships outfit, Fabian Ackroyd.
Yeah, absolutely. They should be really proud of that effort. I think if you turn the television on at the start of the game, it's how far Hutchins. You turn it on now, you'd be really surprised. It's a credit to OHA. They fixed things at half-time. We spoke about some players that needed to go behind the ball, and they've done that. And Ethan Wish-Wilson was one that was just been magnificent for OHA.
Yeah, well, he certainly was. As we just sort of cast our eye, and we can see in that embrace, it was Skeggs, who I think is just taking hold of one of his children there, and he was really so strong, and I loved his game. As you said, Ethan Wish-Wilson, Damon Crew really stood up as well down back. Cody Baker in that last quarter when it mattered. Benny Allenby got a bit of the ball, which was nice. Ling in the middle.
Shane Bradford was very good early, and when he went forward, he created some opportunities up there with his pace as well, Hoppy. Yeah,
very much so. So when we look for Hutchins, gee whiz, what about Nick Cleary? What a magnificent game he played. He's such a good ruckman, isn't he? Yeah, he is. He doesn't need to travel around the ground too much to have an impact. He was super today, as obviously Burberry was magnificent himself. So I agree. So Tommy Balcombe, He's a very, very classy footballer. He seems to move over the ground, not on the ground. Burberry, we said. Will Burgess looked dangerous. Hamish Kingston probably just didn't get quite enough of it, but he did have a very, very good third quarter. As we can see here, there's almost a shadow from the old Hobart High, which we can see from our vantage point, looking over the modern day ships. As we said, if that particular, there it is there is the old building. It was in 1919 that was founded, and the old ships back in 1915 had the big 100 years a few years ago. That wonderful club, they had 13 senior premierships, and now that has gone up to 14. Their last one, Fabian, was back in 2011. I know that last couple of years they've been very disappointed in the way they've played in the finals, and so they will be absolutely cock-a-hoot with that performance today.
Yeah, there was no doubt a little bit of pressure on OHA coming into the game, but gee, like we said, the second half they were a completely different team, and we were in there, Hoppy, at half-time, and we listened to, and there was quite a bit of emotion going on in there at half-time, and they certainly lived up to expectations throughout the year. They're a quality team. They're well coached, well led. Their leaders played well.
They certainly did.
I'm really happy for a few of my mates that are playing throughout there, which is great, as you are yourself, and congratulations to them.
Yeah, well, I went inside the Hutchins rooms prior to the game, and they're just such a wonderful group of young men. They made me feel very welcome. They're absolute rippers and a good football club, and as we said, as a school they're wonderful, and they're very, very proud to represent that their Old Boys Association. So I'll be interested to see who wins the John Kenny medal for best on ground, Fabian Ackroyd. And I know I'm putting you right on the spot, but have you got a bit of an opinion who you think might win that very prestigious medal?
Oh, look, I know that it normally goes to the winning team, but clearly Burberry was the best player on the ground, I think, for the majority of the day. He was outstanding. Cleary, Bowcombe were very good for Hutchins. But, gee, I liked Wish Wilson's game. I actually think a really good coaching move from OHA. They swung him behind the ball where the ball was, predominantly at that point in time in Hutchins' forward 50, and he changed the game. He changed the complexity. Skeggs was good as well down back. I know backmen don't tend to get a lot of the plaudits, but, gee, they were the difference.
I think they were.
They were the difference.
Very much so. It had a two-prong effect. It actually changed the structure of the forward line, which the predictability of the thought of going to the centre-half forward of the year in Wish Wilson to going to centre-half back. Well, it shows the versatility, and interesting enough, isn't that modern football? And it's why we encourage coaches in the junior ranks. So I'll now put my vice president of the STJFL hat on, is why we insist that players get some rotations through back, mid and forward, and it's shown today by the versatility, especially by the OHA players, of being able to be thrown around and how they managed to play really well in those different positions.
Well, we were crying out for it at half-time, and we think if they didn't make those changes it would have been how far Hutchins, but OHA had some guys that played little cameos for parts of the day without being completely dominant for the whole game, and that was the difference. They chipped in nicely, I think. Hudson was important in periods of the time. Bradford was important. Ray Hill bobbed up and kicked a very important goal. You know, we talked about Will Ford. He's a good example. So Brodie Langford, you know, led by example, I guess, with a couple of one-on-one contests that went his way.
And he kicked those goals.
He did, and
crucial goals,
he wasn't able to get that early. So Hutchins did that well, and so it'll be interesting.
I wonder who will lay claim to making those moves. I wonder if we go down and if we say, was it you, Brodie, who made those moves, or assistant coach Luttrell? I'm tipping they're both going to claim it.
Oh, look, they've got some. They will, and they've got some pretty smart outfits. I mean, Rodney Callanan is a pretty smart footy brain. He controls it down there. I know Ian Callanan was also down there,
yep.
and Bungham would have had his input, of course. But
very much so.
There's some good brains trust around OHA. They're a pretty lucky footy club, and their leaders on the ground stood up when it counted.
It is crucial for a playing coach, Fabian, to have the confidence in their bench
Yep.
to assist, to make the moves. Ultimately, the responsibility comes with the senior coach, who at this stage was out in the ground, but you need good commandants with you, don't you?
You do, and you need your assistant coaches to be quite courageous as well, to be able to put forward their opinion. And I think if indeed that's what's happened at OHA, congratulations to them, because it was the difference.
So the umpires are getting their medals, and you see the somewhat forlorn look on the Hutchins players, and it is sad to have losers in what's been a really tremendous year for Old Scholars football. The only, I guess, disappointing light to start with was to see that Richmond didn't take the field. But taking that aside, Fabian, I know that you saw a game each week. You would have been really impressed from the season that you saw in the Old Scholars.
It's a credit to the Old Scholars. I was chatting to a couple of guys downstairs before the game, and the evenness and quality of the competition is outstanding. You've got AFL players running through this competition. There's no easy games. It's fantastic. So the Old Scholars Association should be congratulated. They've done a tremendous job, and clubs keep attracting quality players, which bodes well for the future.
See the celebrations down there, the smiles. We're going to stay with this, and there's Rocky Hill. He absolutely thrilled as he's getting close to his son Ray. Well, you know, as you coached one of your sons, and it's a wonderful thing when you can go down as a dear old dad and have a chat to your son. But for you, though, very excitingly, who's coaching the girls, you'll be able to do the same thing with your daughter.
Let's hope so.
Maybe in a few weeks' time, you've got yourselves in a good position. Of course, coaching in the under-15 division in the STJFL for Lauderdale. So bear with us as we're going to have a little listen in a few moments to see who indeed is going to be awarded with the coveted best on ground position. So the announcers are just giving away the medals for all the umpires who made it to the grand final, and we congratulate all the umpires, because, Fabian, without the umpires there is no game.
No, that's correct. I actually thought they did a really good job today.
We didn't notice them, did we?
No, they were good today.
Yeah, it's only when you see those glaringly obvious sort of mistakes, and congratulations to the Umpires Association this year. We thank them for it. They do a great job, so I think I'll be quiet. We're just listening. There is the best on ground. You were quite right, Fabian Ackroyd.
Yeah, I thought so.
So George Burberry has been named best on ground, and it'll be a slightly sinking feeling for George to come out and accept that medal. He very much deserving of it. Well, I guess we can talk over. It's a little bit hard, but great sportsmanship shown here by Burberry, and you wouldn't think he's a class act as not just a footballer, but as a quality young man, Fabian, isn't he?
Yeah, and you'd like to think. I mean, Hutchins will be there about the mark again next year.
Very much so.
They stand up very well. They were a little unlucky today, but like we said, full credit to OHA. They deserve the win. They come to play, and those combative games, like we mentioned earlier today, they've held them in good stead. There was no bruise-free footy for them at all.
Oh, bruise-free footy, there certainly was. Well, what a wonderful day of football we've had here at North Hobart. As here is the winning coach, Brodie Langford, coming out to... He'll probably make a few announcements here. We can hear the crowd react. They are very, very happy. And it's great that he can share it here with his young son as well, Fabian.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's a good part of footy. We're one of the sports where we can do that, which is tremendous.
So Well, there's a little bit blue, but we do understand it's very emotional and heartfelt, and winners and losers, but it's all about competing, and especially in the year that we've had Fabian Ackroyd, it's been challenging. I know it's been challenging for you as a small business owner of a wonderful company, Consolidated Energy. It's great to see that we've actually had the season that we have had, and these players, not only for their physical well-being but also their mental well-being, is to feeling part of a sense of community as the players are being called out. And we might assist here, and here is co-captain Cody Baker getting his medal, and you can hear the calls of appreciation as Gabby Chambers comes out and grabs his. He got his 2 goals, played a really good game, Fabian. Trent Standen, got the 2 goals, Chambers the 1. Here is Dylan Grant, gets his premiership hat and medal. Ray Hill, of course, who made the move from OHA, and he'll be thrilled now he is a senior grand final winner. Oh, there's Harry Allenby.
No better feeling than this, Hop.
Big Harry, he was in doubt, and here is his brother Ben. Look at the smiles across those Allenbys. They'll take those medals home to Church Street, Belrive, and show them to their dear old dad and say, look at us, Dad, we've got one too. They'll be thrilled over there in the wee old hours. There's Alex Hill getting his. Some players look happy, some players look just so relieved, don't they, Fabian? But I think it's a mixture of both, as that was Alex Triffett who got his. You can see now he expresses himself. And I think some of the sponsors' product is being launched down there. A couple of Cascades.
Be a few more, I would suggest, before the night's out.
John O'Eaton, the very colourful arms of Big Damon Crew. Ripping game. And there he is, Ethan Wish Wilson. Lovely smile on his face. Of course, it's so pleasing to have him out there playing as well. He did his knee a couple of years ago, and he's made a great recovery, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's a terrific fella too.
So there was Jamie Ford.
And Shane Bradford, he had a really good game today.
Yes, he did. Very fleet of foot. Normally pretty clean below. Here's a man that you liked. It was Big Nick Skeggs.
He's been around a while, Big Skeggsy, and he certainly controlled that back half well.
Oh, he was stoic. He just didn't put himself in reverse all day. He only went in forward gears, didn't he?
Yeah, young Lingy. I used to play footy with his dad, Darren, down at Lauderdale, so he'd be pretty proud at the moment, I would suggest.
Same thing with Lingy. He moved over from Clarence.
Yep.
He's got some really close mates over here in Baker, and look at the smile on Big Hutto. He's, of course, a life member of Lauderdale Football Club. Here's Will Ford, who was so crucial today when he went forward, Fabian.
Yeah, he was. Kicked a couple of very important goals.
Martinovic, very, very happy, clever, creative, crucial performance down back. Heavy, they all say, the big man. And it was weight of numbers at some of their players within the ruck, and he as well chimed in and did some very, very useful things. Damon Paul, very popular.
He was good early, Damon Paul.
Yeah, he was. So he plays his last game, and him, like others, like Harry Allen, the coach of the Clarence Cricket Club, will be back playing next week. Of course, missing out on today, and here are the assistants coming forward, Fabian.
Very good footy brain, Rocket. He'll be up and about. There'll be plenty of stories told by Rocket over the next week and a half.
Yeah, no, it's good to see. So the last thing, of course, what we have to do is see that cup presented. And I'm sure...
It's a nice touch.
This is a really nice touch. But Ian Callanan, that was so crucial to this team. And you can see he's very emotional there, Fabian, and just a wonderful, wonderful thing. It reminds me of the Bob Murphy for Footscray or the Western Bulldogs, and they recognise people who have been with them. And here is the cup, as Kenny Anderson announced, it is OHA's to hold aloft, and that's what they're waiting for. So, ladies and gentlemen, we hope you've enjoyed the coverage here from North Hobart Oval. It was the Murdoch Clark Mortgage Fund Management Old Scholars Grand Final, and that's what they were playing for, as the players here turn back to the cameras to get that photo that they'll look back in many years to come as they put the old finger up. We've won it. It's a great feeling, isn't it, Fabian?
It's a fantastic feeling. The boys are going to love this for a long time to come.
So congratulations to the Old Scholars for a wonderful day and what is a wonderful year. Our commiserations go to the Hutchins Football Club, who were so good for long periods of time, of course, 7-1, followed closely by the Ships with 6-2. But ladies and gentlemen, there it is. It is Fabian Ackroyd and Andrew Hopwood now signing off from the North Hobart Oval. We hope you've enjoyed the coverage. A very warm good afternoon to you all.
So